Hello, everyone. So often as I study the scriptures, certain passages affect me profoundly. One such passage is the fourth chapter of Mark, verses 35 and 30 through 38. I just wanted to share what I got from this passage of scripture with you, and it's entitled, Lord, Don't You Care? And I pray that this blesses you as much as it did me. Mark, the fourth chapter, 35 through 38. On that same day, when evening had come, he said to them, Let us cross over to the other side. Now, when they had left the multitude, they took him along in the boat as he was, and other little boats were also with him. And a great windstorm arose, and the waves beat into the boat so that it was already filling. But he was in the stern, asleep on a pillow. And they woke him and said to him, Teacher, do you not care that we are perishing? This one is for my brothers and sisters who have become discouraged, disappointed, frustrated, and even angry as you wait for God to move on your behalf. You've been going through something that is beyond your ability to fix. It has been a long while with no end in sight. Out of your despair, you ask, Lord, don't you care? I'm being lied on by people whom I've done nothing to offend. It seems the more I pray, the more my marriage is falling apart. My children have strayed away from everything that I taught them. Financial problems and debt are continuing to mount even as I commit to giving. I believe you are a healer, but my health continues to decline. You have done what God has asked of you. You have said yes to His will, even though you don't know exactly where His path for you may lead. Now you find yourself in this seemingly insurmountable situation, and God seems indifferent to your suffering. Lord, don't you care? Friends, if you have ever asked if God cared, then you are not alone. If I'm to be honest, I too have asked if God cared during my difficult situation. You know who else questioned Jesus' concern for them? His disciples. Note that these are the same disciples who had seen or at least heard of Jesus casting out demons, relieving fever, and healing leprosy in Mark chapter 1, healing the paralytic man in chapter 2, and restoring a withered hand in chapter 3. Yet in chapter 4, they are asking Jesus, Don't you care about us? What Jesus had done for others was no source of comfort for them at that moment. They were now in fear for their own safety. Can we blame them? How many of us, even though we love God and testify of His goodness and have seen Him work miracles in our lives and in the lives of others, still ask Him if He cares during our crisis? Unfortunately, we humans all too often think this way. Negative bias is when events of a negative nature have a greater impact on one's mind than positive or neutral events. We not only remember our crises in great detail, but sometimes exchange happiness for the perpetual fear of another crisis. Of course, you will question God's ability to deliver if fear and worry consume your thoughts. There is a saying that you become what you think about. Unfortunately, many people have become prisoners of fear. Be very careful with your thoughts, especially thoughts of woe. This is why we are told in Philippians 4 and 8 to think on whatsoever things are true, honest, just, pure, lovely, and of a good report. This does not come easy, nor does it happen overnight. It is a process that we must commit to every day. No wonder do not fear is written in the Bible 365 times. So does God care about your crisis? That would be a resounding yes, He does. Jesus' response to the disciples is proof. The scripture says that although the storm was raging and the boat began to fill with water, Jesus, having no fear of the turmoil around him, remained fast asleep. The disciples, however, did not have the same confidence and could feel the impending doom. They woke Jesus and said, Lord, don't you care? Jesus had every right to rebuke them for what you and I would have seen as disrespect. But what did Jesus do? He loved and had so much compassion for them that he instead calmed the wind and the seas. Remember, Jesus was fast asleep and had no fear of the storm, so his actions were solely for the disciples' benefit. He loves you and me just as much as he loved his disciples. He hears the cry of his children and will deliver you from all your troubles, just as he did the disciples. After Jesus addressed the disciples' physical need, he then addressed their spiritual need, faith. As we witness God's power in our lives, our faith should start to mature and even grow strong. With each blessing, we should go to a new level of faith. With each deliverance, we should go to a new level of his glory. You may now be in a place where you ask God if he cares, but as you continue to walk with him and experience his blessings, your faith will grow enough that you won't have to question whether or not God cares. As a young boy attending church in Utica, New York, there was an elderly woman whom we called Mother Jackson. When she spoke of her faith in God, Mother Jackson would say, "I know that I know, deep down in my knower." Mother Jackson has long since passed, but her words have stuck with me. It is God's desire for you and me to trust him the way Mother Jackson did, even in a crisis. Brothers and sisters, God does care. He can and will rescue you from the situation that has you as fearful as the disciples were. When he brings you out, you are going to rejoice as you stand on that old trial and reach up to a new level of faith and blessings in God. I just wanted to share this YouTube video with you, my first YouTube video, and I hope it did touch you and encourage someone that God does care about you. Have a blessed day, and remember that many people around you don't read the Bible, so please be the Bible for them. Thank you.